I want to show you guys a build that I recently made in order to complete my Weapon Master Challenge. Now, I'm going to make a separate video about the Weapon Master Challenge, but I'll give you a quick summary of what the Weapon Master Challenge is. It's basically like an arena challenge, but imagine if arena allowed you to make your own sets and bring them in. And you weren't just limited to 6 different weapons. You had to do all 14 weapons. That's right. Imagine having to S rank an arena quest with all 14 weapons, and you could bring your own builds. That's the Weapon Master Challenge in a nutshell. And so I'm working my way through each weapon, and I'm working on Hunting Horn right now. And I stumbled upon a Hunting Horn build that I think is pretty freaking nice. And I'm going to share that with you today. Now, I hate this layered Hunting Horn, so I'm going to put on a different one. I feel like the layered gear that I'm using, the look of the weapon, affects how I play the weapon. Do you feel that is that way for you too? I feel I need to have my Teostra Hunting Horn in order to really be effective. This one's really cool. I feel like I play better with this skin. So here's my Hunting Horn build. Now, why did I feel the need to share this with you? Well, because I spent some time looking up builds online, and I went to my favorite website, Reddit, and I went to my favorite subreddit, Monster Hunter Meta. Any longtime viewers of my channel know that I have a great relationship with all the people over there, and I love all the builds that they make. They're all so, no, okay, I can't lie to you. I did go to the Monster Hunter Meta build guide, and what I found there was kind of sad. What I found there was something like this. It was so bad I had to add LOL to the description of it because they are telling me to put Dragon Conversion on my Hunting Horn build. And it looks something like this. 192 ice, 374 attack. At first glance, it's pretty nice. It's got all the right things that you'd expect to have. Nice Dragon Conversion build. The only problem is Dragon Conversion doesn't give you enough extra damage. And I found that out the hard way by actually playing it. So here we go. We're going to go here to what I find is a much more powerful build that you don't have to mess around with your scroll swaps. You just get it right out of the gate. The attack power is much higher, as you can see. The ice damage is respectable, 163. And it looks something like this. Attack boost 7, which, by the way, Monster Hunter Meta says is optional for an elemental Hunting Horn. I think that is just insane. That is just absolutely insane. Now, I found that on Lance, the attack boost 7 is optional just in terms of the damage output I can get with an elemental Lance. But for Hunting Horn, it's not the same. It's just not the same. I found that Hunting Horn relies on raw damage a lot more than an elemental Lance relies on raw damage. So attack boost 7, crit eye 7. We're going to crit with this thing, aren't we? Boost your element attack all the way up. Handicraft 5, because you're going to be hitting so much. So many hits with this thing. Crit boost, weakness, exploit, crit element, master's touch. These things go without saying. Now, Mail of Hellfire. I'm starting to like Mail of Hellfire for certain quests. I am going to take it off for some of the really, really difficult monsters, like some of the specials or like some of the Risens, where they hit way too hard. But for my purposes, I've been using Mail of Hellfire for the extra attack on an element weapon. Yeah, I haven't been using the elemental side of Mail of Hellfire. I've been using the attack boost side of Mail of Hellfire. And it's a lot more effective on this particular weapon type than you might have been led to believe. Element exploit, of course, burst, of course, element skill. We've got the Kashala to boost my ice attack. Teos is just kind of on there. That's a bonus. So I didn't put that on there on purpose. Powder Mantle's a bonus too, but it works out really well. Maximum Might to fill out my 100% affinity, and the Horn Maestro, inspiration, so forth, that kind of stuff. Very cool build. What kind of equipment am I using? 3 Risen Kaisers, augmented, a Primordial, and a Rhyme Guard for the ice attack. That's just what the set builder told me to use. My talisman is my go-to, Mail of Hellfire 3, Build Up Boost 2, which is useless for this build, and 222. Any talisman with at least 2/2/2 will work for this build. Like I said, you don't need the Mill of Hellfire and you don't need the build-up boost, obviously, for this. So you probably have a talisman that's better than this for this build. Go ahead and use that one. You don't need to use the same parts that I use. Let's take a look at my augments. They're nothing crazy. A 2-slot upgrade, a 2-slot upgrade, a 1-slot upgrade, a 2-slot upgrade, and not even augmented at all. So these are not crazy augments. You can get those very quickly and easily. What have I done here? I've got 2 points of attack and 8 points of element on that. Pretty straightforward for an elemental build. Now, if you're curious, the switch skills I like to use: Silkbind Shockwave, Overhead Smash, Performance Mode, Crush Attack, and the controversial one, Earthshaker. If you read the Monster Hunter Meta Guide, they'll tell you do not use Earthshaker. It's kind of funny that the reason why they tell you not to use Earthshaker, they say Earthshaker has unreliable hitboxes and is difficult to use. What happened to learning your weapon, guys? I mean, that's really all I have to say on that, right? Unreliable hitboxes. Just learn your damn weapon. Learn how to use Earthshaker. It is a huge attack, especially when you get all your buffs up. It's huge. So if you're looking for a better hunting horn, if you haven't built one already, check this one out. If you've tried the meta and it's just a little underwhelming, check this out. I suggest not messing with the dragon conversion. Just don't deal with it. You can have better results by avoiding it. So yeah, I was using this one for the Weapon Master Challenge, and I'm still learning the weapon. I'm still learning the monster, which is Seething Basil. And so I'm making my way toward S rank, slowly but surely. I'll definitely get there soon. Now, for those of you who think I'm a little too hard on Monster Hunter meta, and you think I'm not letting them play the way they want, obviously not true. My presumption is that you are going to play the way you want. And nothing I say is going to convince you to play against your own best interests. And none of my guides or builds or advice includes the claim that my way of playing is the objective best way to play. I will never make that claim because I don't believe that there is an objective best way to play. So you'll never catch me making that claim. Whereas the Monster Hunter meta crowd does make that claim. They do make that claim every day. They make that claim multiple times a day. That's the entire reason for their existence. Now, I know what you're thinking. You know, the training dummy is biased toward Raw. I get that. But guess what? The monsters are biased toward Raw too. Okay? That's just a fact. And it's not just the training dummy that I see this on. I see this in the field. I see bigger numbers in the field. You've got a 65 blunt hit zone on the tail for seething, and that's pretty typical for a melee weak spot. And you've got 25 ice. So all my bonuses are kicking in, and the non-DC is still coming out ahead. My numbers are all around bigger with the non-DC build. So the boosting your raw is more effective in this particular case and in similar cases, especially when your element is not as high. Now, are there situations where you have element even higher and blunt even lower? Furious Rajang, the element's a little bit higher and the blunt is actually a little bit higher as well. So you see there's a whole range. This guy, the claws are a high element, but such a low blunt melee that I wouldn't even hit him on the claws. I'd be looking for the head. So it's a lower element weak spot, but with a 70 for blunt, you know, that's where you're going on a Rachna, for example. A Diablos abdomen, 70-30, you know, both of them are higher. 60-30 on the wing, take the 70-30 on the abdomen. So seething is not an anomaly when it comes to these resists. And so if you do an analysis across the board, you're going to find that the DC and all of these elemental skills at the cost of that attack up is going to set you back. It's a lot and it does add up over time. Is that enough to keep you from using DC? No, I would say use it if you like it. You know, again, I'm not the one claiming to know the absolute best thing to do at all times. The Monster Hunter meta community is making that claim. So it's pretty easy to prove them wrong. And I think I've done that. It's not the purpose of this video, but I just want you guys to be aware that when I show you a build that I really like and that I think is really effective, and when I do claim that it is better than what you're going to find on the internet, specifically on Monster Hunter Meta Guide, that it is indeed the case. Is my build the absolute best thing out there? No, of course. I'll never make that claim. It might be. You guys can decide for yourself if you like it better. And that's why I make these videos, to give you guys alternatives, to show you that there are other ways to play the game other than what someone tells you. And most importantly, get out there and have fun. If big damage numbers, if really big, highest damage numbers is what's fun for you, and sometimes that's fun for me too. If that's what you're looking for, do your own research. Okay, do your own testing. Look at alternatives, because you can't always trust what people claim is the objective best. It's not always true. Why? I don't know. You know, if you have that many people doing the testing and play testing and crunching the numbers, you'd think there'd be a high degree of reliability to the claims, but it's just not the case. So buyer beware. Check out this build though. If you have been hesitant to make your own builds for hunting horn, I hope this video shows you that your instincts may very well be a better option than someone else's erroneously researched nonsense. There are some issues that I have with their guide. I think overall, just looking at it on the whole, there's some good advice to be had there, but there's also some bad advice. There's also some things that just don't really make sense. So I can't recommend their guide for hunting horn. Usually they get the weapons right in terms of the best bang for your buck, so to speak. But in terms of the builds themselves, they can get you pointed in the right direction. But definitely don't take it as gospel. My build gets you pointed in the right direction too. But you know what? It's not that hard to point yourself in the right direction. A lot of these skills are the same things you see over and over again for any weapon type, especially with element. So put together what you can, put together what you think's fun, and go out there and kick ass. That's what I have to say. So there it is. There's the build. Attack boost. Definitely get that on your hunting horn. It's worth it. Handicraft, Master's Touch. Mail of Hellfire is cool. You could take the Mail of Hellfire off, put in whatever survivability skills you want to put on there. Yeah, so, you know, their guide lists Kushala as a tier skill, not an S tier skill. They list Burst 1 above Kushala Blessing. They list Burst 1 above a 10% damage boost. Not sure what logic is going on in their minds. But here's my cool build. I got Burst 3 on mine just because I got the Element Exploit, Kushala Blessing. I have Critical Element. Look at that. I got all this stuff. This thing is powerful. This thing is really, really powerful. The downside to this is, yeah, the defense is lower. With the hunting horn in performance mode, you have enough iframes to get you out of almost any situation in the game. And that should be your go-to safety net, as it were. You should be ready to go with that at any moment. Anticipate, of course. Don't worry about animation commitments and bullshit like that. You only commit when you know the monster's going to let you commit. Otherwise, you should be focusing on attacks that you can chain together and get out of quickly. So yeah, Hunting Horn has a lot of attacks that are so-called high animation commitment. Most weapons do. Just don't use those when you know the monster is going to quickly attack you again. Pretty simple. Don't use your Earth Shaker unless the monster's on the ground or they're recovering from something and they're in their own animation commitment, so to speak. But that Earth Shaker damage is not to be ignored. So that's what I got. Let me know in the comments how you would improve this. Let me know if you try this out, how well it works for you. Does this improve what you've got, or do you have something better? You got something better? Share it with us. We're always looking for cool new ways to build for our weapons and kick ass. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, head on over to the Discord where we have a lot of people who like to play this game in a lot of different ways, and we have fun talking about it. If you want to support me directly, head over to Patreon and you can do that there. Got more build videos on the way. I'll see you guys in the next one.